Hello everyone, it's me Jenny. It's time for another movie review. Woo! And today I'm going to be reviewing Chicago, which is a film that I love and that I own and that I haven't reviewed, and I was thinking about because the trailer for Bridget Jones 3 has just come out, and I was also just thinking about a bunch of West End shows that I've seen, and I have seen a live production of Chicago. I went to a dance workshop for it when I was about 15, 16 years old, and then we went to see a live performance of it at a matinee showing as part of a school trip, and by that point I'd watched this film a lot. I think I rented it from the library and then I watched it again and again, and the reason why I like this film is it's such a cynical premise. It's very, very much based on the concept of criminal celebrity, which is something that I think is, if anything, more relevant today, where people are known, their notoriety is not necessarily good or bad, it is just people are known for things. There's kind of a celebrity in bad behaviour, and you know, it started with Al Capone, and that's where this story comes from. I love the theatre production. What I really love about this film is, for such a cynical movie, it's still a musical, which is kind of weird because I remember definitely I must have watched this before the time that I was probably meant to watch it. I think it is. It's rated 12 according to the rating. And I think I must have watched it when I was around that age. But I remember showing it to one of my friends and being like, "It's a musical. It's happy." Having watched it many times and, you know, associated very strongly with music, with the kind of musical happy dance-ness that I obviously saw more of. And I remember showing it to a friend and her being like, "Someone's died in the first 5 minutes." Spoiler alert. So it's got a very dark kind of sentiment to it. It's very, very satirical, and yeah, it's a really kind of a mature view on this world of negative, positive celebrity world set in this gorgeous setting of the 1920s. The costumes in this are phenomenal. It's directed by, I'm going to have to look it up because I can't remember his name. And it's not on the front of the box, which is annoying. But he's also the same guy that directed that version of Annie, which is the one starring Kathy Bates. And so he's very into his lush, wide open sets, these realistic sets, but they're still larger than life. And that's how this film works. It's beautifully produced. The sets are gorgeous. I love the directorial premise that all of the other musicals that I own, all the ones that are kind of up in this sort of section, they're basically just people bursting into song because they want to burst into song. It's, you know, it takes you kind of out of the story in a weird way because it's not rooted in reality. Well, this is rooted in reality in that all of the musical incidences are the perspective of Roxy. They are her fantasy. And it starts with just the pan into the eyeball and then the pan out and the switching of characters, and it's a dreamscape. You can almost view this film as a psychological study into this character of Roxy, which isn't really shown so much in the production that I saw. In the production that I saw, Roxy is a very unlikable character. You like her just about because you're following her story and she's your lead, but she's not necessarily your hero. She's not likable. Renee Zellweger is phenomenal in this film because she's empathetic even though she's a cow. Even though she makes that heartbreaking statement, "There is no baby." It's genuinely, she is not a pleasant character, and yet you're rooting for her from the get-go. All these characters, all our heroes are unlikable, and the only guy who's actually a decent human being, you don't like him being on screen. It makes you feel uncomfortable. Cellophane is one of the most depressing songs, and it's my least favourite number, but it's the most human of all of them because he's the only decent character in the whole film. And it's beautifully well done in that cynicism. The acting throughout is really well done. Richard Gere and Renee Zellweger and Catherine Zeta-Jones, that trilogy of characters, not to mention all the extra characters around, they create this force to be reckoned with. Richard Gere has a great on-screen presence. He's brilliant at dancing. He's great at theatre. He's got a good voice. He sells this character who is dripping with irony. And again, the irony is shown through Roxy's fantasies. As I said, Catherine Zeta-Jones is brilliant in this role. She oozes that sort of sexuality and presence which you need for that character when you've got these three like forces to be reckoned with on screen. They work so well, the chemistry is so good, and again, none of these people are likeable, none of them, but they have such presence and such charisma, you're rooting for them anyway. It's so cynical, it's so beautiful. I keep it next to All That Jazz, which I might talk about another time. But yeah, this film it's beautifully directed, the larger-than-life sets, the way that they do the transitions between fantasy and reality, the way that they do the lighting changes, it's theatrical but also grounded. The way that the actual outdoor sets are real places, they're not, you know, theatre upon theatre, they're not Mary Poppins style, you can see the paper walls. It's real sets, but it has that sort of, it goes into the fantasy realm, it comes back, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger in a way that only film can do. You couldn't do that on a production set, on a live production, because, you know, the stage is a fixed space. While with this, you can go from very, very intimate close-ups, very, very intimate moments, to huge musical numbers, and then back again. The way that they do the musical build-ups, the way that they have the conductor character who comes in and out and is kind of a narrator, is very well done. There's a lot less humour in a weird way and a lot more humour. It's a very different type of humour than the live production that I saw. The dance development in this is phenomenal, in that, you know, there is a set choreography to the productions. I learnt All That Jazz, the production version, which is very, very limited movements. It's all about set movements. It's very, very specific, while this takes that original Bob Fosse choreography, I nearly said photography, choreography, and then builds on it and builds on it and builds on it and brings a whole new level of texture and elegance, while still holding true to that style. I love the setting, I love the music, I love the acting. It's such a dark, dark story that ends with such a bittersweet ending, in that the heroes, our heroes that we've been following, get everything they want, their dreams come true, and yet it's such a dark movie, and the only two good characters, because I forgot about the other good character, have the worst endings. And it's beautiful and ironic and funny, and holds your attention through these lavish set changes and costume changes and colours and textures, while still being grounded. And I cannot recommend this film enough. If you like musicals, it's worth watching. If you don't like musicals, it's still worth watching, because for a musical film, it has a fixed boundary in reality, in that every single musical number is inside Roxy's head. It is her projection of things in the world, which is just brilliant. Thank you for watching. This film has like influenced my life so much. Like things like, it was crazy and wild is something that I still say day to day. I will get Chicago, All That Jazz, I will get songs stuck in my head. Sometimes I'll just be wandering around singing nowadays, and it's so good. When I went to America, the first time I ever did karaoke, I sung Both Reach for the Gun. There's video of it somewhere, but I think it's gone away to disappear. But I love this film, I really enjoy this film, I can't recommend it enough. And you know, it's a reason why it's won 6 Academy Awards, or it was nominated for 6 and winner of 6 Academy Awards. Hells yeah. And I have the 2-disc special edition because that's the kind of person I am. There we go. Have you seen this film? Have you seen the live version? What were your thoughts? Any comparisons that you'd like to bring in? What's your favourite movie musical? And yeah, feel free to comment, and I'll see you guys all next week. Bye!